said, we'd love to really open our phone lines and take a few calls. We have some comments on social media we'd like to take right now as we await some of the calls. I would really like to hear from women this morning. I know men have called so far, but it would be great to hear from women. Yes, Mariam.
So
go ahead.
No, she'll read.
Biswa Labisi says, a narcissist will choke you with love and disappear unawares. Andrew in Stratham says, those are very wicked men, narcissistic person.
But are they really wicked men or they are sick? Because some of these men actually are not wicked. They are good-hearted people. They are kind. If you see them with their brothers, their siblings, they are good people. But there's something that happened. There was a loose bolt growing up somewhere, some experience that caused them to behave that way. So it's not like they are bad people. They are also cannot, they can't control their emotions. They don't have any other way to show love. That's all they know. Some of them have been rape victims themselves. They were molested as some people. I'm just saying that they also are sick. We shouldn't assume that they're wicked. Could they also go back to also get some healing before they get into the
I watched recently, there's a coach that talks about relationships, not just marital, but, all kinds of relationships. And he was saying that many narcissists are nurtured. They are raised by parents. So, and that it's not like any trauma. Yeah. It's that you're raising your child. And usually narcissists are children that are raised with so much praise for nearly doing nothing. And they were given everything they wanted anytime they asked for it. So if you're raising those sort of people, when they become adults, they would constantly want what they want, how they want it, however they want it, to your own detriment. It's about them, because they've been raised to think that life is about them. Yeah. And so that is where, you talk about the narcissist. But for me, I think the conversation should really be about what can a woman recognize, especially when it's not physical. Like, what can she see that she recognizes that this is not good for me? This, even though it's making me sad, but this is definitely a no-no. This is completely a red flag. Because the reason I say this, someone may be listening and say, is it not obvious? It makes me unhappy. No, because we're constantly, at least with women, we're constantly trying to rationalize many things. We're constantly trying to excuse behavior. We blame ourselves some. In fact, society will tell us, oh, it's because you're about to be on your period, so you're overreacting, you're too sensitive. And because you're constantly rationalizing and giving excuses, you are unaware that you are truly going through serious abuse. So for me, the conversation would be, what are those things that a woman can point out, or if they point it out to you, that you would say to yourself with all confidence, okay, now I agree, I'm in a toxic relationship, I'm in a bad relationship. And I also want to use the conversation with the two men that called, especially the very first caller, when he said that we should talk about men as well. And he says that it's hard for men too to leave. When he gave his examples, I appreciate what he's going through and the examples he gave, where he said he can't live because of church, he can't live for his children. But the difference between him and a woman is that it is still a personal decision he's making. So a woman may decide based on church and her children not to leave, but there's also society that she has to also face. So a man is likely to run into empathetic arms of society. Like, we understand, in fact, you're a man, to have gone through what you have gone through. A woman will go through all these things and still come out to society that will judge her for not being even more patient or long-suffering enough.
Let me pause you for a second, because I like us to address, and I hate to focus on church, because it's not only church things that happen. But let's talk about the last caller's point, a deaconess. Maybe a marriage counselor. You have helped people,
examples with those,
or you have pastors' wives who have led people to God.
Or
maybe
big gospel singers.
Sorry?
Big gospel singers.
Big gospel singers. People who have been used by God, and they feel like, how do I live my marriage? What would the congregation say? What would my followers say? My women's society, all those who I've been speaking to, and have all found God through me. How would I tell them I'm leaving my husband? These women are going through some serious things that they don't even know how to find help, how to seek help, and they just resort to prayer. They keep praying, they keep fasting. I know somebody who fasted and prayed on this matter for years. After a while, she told herself she's leaving. She had to leave, and God then blessed her with another husband. That one too flopped. God, they start with another husband. She's on number 3 right now.
Amen.
And she's happy. Amen. She's happy.
He's a charm, they say.
So God will not do for us what we can do for ourselves. He will never do it. He has given you all that is pertaining to life and godliness. He has given you logic. He has given you emotional intelligence. He has given you the ability to think and process for yourself and ask yourself critical questions. Is this serving me? Is this working for me? Do I panic anytime my husband is coming back home? Is that the life I want to live for the next 20 years? Because I don't want people to say, I'm a deaconess, I'm pastor's wife. I've led so many people to church. And that's also because of the way the church judges the people they are supposed to help grow. So if something happens and, you know, the marriage doesn't work out, instead of people to embrace you with love, try to understand where you're coming from. They put you down, they gossip about you, they say you're falling, you're not a sinner. They are now the judge and the jury. They condemn you when Christ has not condemned you. So you need, as a Christian, for those people who are in that space, I've never been in that space where I would consider an outsider before myself. If it doesn't work for me, I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to carry my bag and take a walk because it's me first. And we need to understand and help ladies begin to love themselves. When you love yourself, it's not as if you are going to be doing silly things.
I have to pause you because Hassan has been holding for a while.
Okay.
Hassan from Lekki, I do apologize for keeping you.
Can I guess what Hassan is going to say?
Good morning, Hassan.
Morning.
Please, I can see that the whole thing is segmented. Are you people talking from the Christianity point of view or generally? So that I can chip in something to you about this issue.
Generally.
The last point was specifically about deaconess, but we'll be speaking from 10:05 concerning women who have situations in generally, women who are in this kind of situations, and why why divorce is so is not encouraged.
Without any religious biases.
Yeah.
So let me chip in something to you here. You see, in Islam, God allows divorce, but God detests divorce. And God knows why. And in Islam, a man can divorce. A woman can seek for divorce. You can see that everyone has a right. A man can divorce. A woman can seek for divorce. If there are irreconcilable differences,
right.
God enjoins us to have this matrimonial harmony. Two are better than one. That is why God detests this kind of reckless divisions. You just decide you wake up on the other side and you now decide to divorce your husband.
Thank you very much, Hassan. I just saw a message now. It said, Mariah, you ladies are encouraging divorce. I'm very disappointed.
Wow.
And that's why I started this conversation, saying that we have been one to actually extol the virtues and morals of a good marriage. But the truth is that there are situations where both men and women are in their need of some kind of space and air and the separation from these experiences they're going through in their marriages. And this is a conversation we must have. So we're not in any way saying we're against marriage. We're just saying that if there's need for divorce, please, we must begin to introduce the conversation that it is to normalize this option. So that women and men can begin to take this option if you to save their lives and their sanity.
Yes, and I also said when we started that I naturally don't like to advise people to do what they need to do. I expect that at some point, you know when it gets to this point that you can no longer do it. But we must table all of the options so that you know that the options are there when you're ready for it. But I wanted to harp on something. You know, I like the fact that Miriam explained the narcissistic, you know.
Definition.
Yes, but there are two. There's one that is narcissistic tendencies. Somebody has that. Then there's one that's called NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, which I see with most of the people who are into this kind of relationship. That one has no cure. Because there's a wiring in the brain that has touched. And I'm serious. I've seen some life coaches who are narcissistic, who are self-aware that they are, and they coach you on how to deal with them, and they're suffering from it. They're packed up, their relationship is no longer working, but they're helping other people know how to deal with these people. So you choose two things. Either you stay there and endure for the rest of your life, or you take a walk, because they can never change. That wiring has been, like, is a long process to begin to define it. But she also pointed something where we're going to be leading this conversation to. What do you see that would help you either avoid this person or know not to get married to this person? One of the fastest things that can spot it for you is when somebody gaslights you. And this is not just for romantic relationship, even in friendships. So when somebody presents their pain, this is what you have done to me. I don't like this. And the person does not take responsibility for causing you that pain. But the person wants you to, the person tells you, you are not supposed to feel that pain. That's not what I meant. So they invalidate the pain that you are feeling.
Manipulate.
And manipulate you. You're not confused in your head like, Abi, I overreacted, or I underreacted, or what is going on. That's serious gaslighting. And that is what some of these abusers use to hook you. So you catch this person in this bad thing they have done, you tell them about it, and they say, no, that's not the intention. They are not apologizing for how you are feeling. They are invalidating that feeling. When somebody does it to you one time, second time, three times, you know that that relationship needs to pack up, because you cannot be in that space where somebody constantly makes you feel like you are not okay. You don't know what you're saying. You don't remember the events currently. They tell you your memory is short. You can't remember what has happened.
And all these words are like sowing seed. They gradually begin to lay foundations in your mind. Before you know it, it now becomes who you are. You now believe.
Second guess yourself.
Now believe it. Let's take a few comments on social media. No woman has called yet. I'm really, really hoping that one or two women will call before the end of the show. Let's take a few comments on social media so that we can have some more perspective on this. Okay. This is indeed, go ahead.
Vicky says, well said, Miriam, self-love. Andrew says, we are beginning to have too many topics on sadness, bitterness, and divorce in marriage on your view. We need to peck ourselves up by having positive topics at times. Please give us some topics so that we will know. Corey says, of course, you are advising women to divorce while still in your marriages. While you're still in your marriages enduring. I don't understand.
Okay,
we didn't say, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I like the way you said we're not against marriage. We're just saying that there are some situations where you can seek divorce. So there are two different things. Marriage in itself is a good thing, and we encourage it and we celebrate it. So you can actually have these two conversations at the same time, where there are good marriages, and then we recognize that there are some people who are in a marriage that's not exactly a marriage. And I find that some people would say these things because they are not the ones in it, or it's not a family member that we're speaking about. Many people have very strong opinions about enduring, and then when they see a sister who they know, or a child that they've birthed, going through that, they can't stand it. Then they finally see. So I would say that maybe you have not reached that point, and I hope you never, ever get to the point or ever see anyone close to you going through that. But there are people in there today. They're in toxic marriages. They feel like no one will understand, because they will go out and they read messages like this, like, why are you encouraging divorce? So what do we give people? When someone falls down a hole, what do we give the person? What hope do we give the person that the person can come out of it? When the person has gone through therapy. So remember the first story we referred to, they have been through therapy. They came out and they said, even after therapy, in fact, it was therapy that opened their eyes. They realized this is not going to work. We need to understand that some marriages were not meant to happen. Some marriages have become toxic. Some marriages have become worse, have turned the two people involved, the husband and the wife, or both of them, into versions of themselves that they do not like and they hate. In situations like that,
and that in itself
option, and
also
that's what we're saying,
provides bad children, which now contributes into the society. So we have to find a way to nip it in the bud early. Let me take this call. Yemi was calling him Ogba. Good morning, Yemi. You're live. Hello, Yemi from Ogba. Thanks for calling.
Morning.
Morning.
Can
a
you
woman.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I really thank you for this topic this morning. And then I would like to say, I would like to tell every lady out there and every man out there that before marriage, the time for courtship is for you to study your spouse. There are different red lights, you know. There are different things that will make you know that this person, if this person can do this now, he might do worse. I had a friend that got married to somebody that had, you know, a personality disorder that the man is on drugs, right? You know, at first she thought she could cope, but when she saw that this is his nature, this is who he is, he's not going to change.
Won't change.
You know, she had to leave. Wow. Even at first I was like, oh, let's pray, let's be patient. But when I saw what she was going through, I was like, okay, sister, you have my support. Whatever makes you happy, you know. Thank you.
Thank you very
much. That's so touching.
There was something that one of the callers said. He said, you're in a marriage and you wish the person cheats on you instead of what you're going through. And I've heard it before, where someone has said, watching our show, says, I wish my problem was that my husband was cheating. Honestly,
that would be easier,
you know,
to deal with.
I wish that was even my issue. I feel like I'll be able to handle that. But when you're dealing with someone that is constantly emotionally abusing,
I also like to address the comment that says that, well, you guys are enduring your marriage and asking people. See, when we keep putting that narrative out there, you wouldn't help those who are in need. Because people will just be, they would rather keep quiet and mind their business. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to cower because somebody says, oh, because you are enduring. There's nobody enduring any marriage anywhere. Everybody, it's a process. Nobody has any perfect marriage anywhere. Everybody is a work in progress. If you think the grass is greener on the other side, you're lying. If you leave this one, there is worse on the other. So everybody is doing some kind of life management. However, for us to keep quiet and not help those people who are in need, who actually need to exist, so that we're not called out, then they show that that's not why they should exist. We're here to express views and give people, women, men, family, society, options. That you know what you can make choices.
If we're enduring the marriage, the day we still tire us now. All these things we're teaching, the day it gets here,
we do execute people.
So we're helping ourselves as well as helping other people. But let me just put this here because I know time is out. If you insist on staying in that marriage because you want to, you're looking at your children, and we said this over and over, you realize that if their father is narcissistic or is the mother that is narcissistic or the abuser, whoever the partner is, you will raise children who will take after it.
Absolutely.
You will raise children who will become abusive to their own partners tomorrow, who will become narcissistic to their own partner. Every narcissistic parent raises narcissistic children. So they may have just one who decides to be different, maybe becomes an empath, because two of them are like opposites. One person will now choose to focus on humanity, and another chooses to focus on self. But you will raise dysfunctional children. And that's why we say, you need to be sure that you are whole in yourself to be able to raise whole children. And if you are not there, you can get professional help. You can get therapy. You can start. If you recognize that it's the one that the wiring, there's nothing they can do about it, you can opt to take a walk, and we will still love you. You're, first of all, a complete human being without any attachment to anybody. Marriage does not define anybody. Your purpose is your purpose, and God has given it to you. You can still fulfill your purpose without being attached to any man or any woman. Let's normalize these conversations. We are human beings, first of all.
I don't think we can end more than that. That's a perfect roundup to this show. We have to round up. That's all we can take on today's show. I hope we learned a few things. And it's a start of many more conversations. As we said, maybe the next time we talk about it, we'll flip it, because there are women who are giving their husbands hell. Trust me, I know a few too. That the husbands are just keeping quiet. They can't talk because they're also leaders in church. How would this say that our pastor's wife has slapped his face? Hey, and he's them. You know. So if we hear this situation, they send us DMs all the time. So these are conversations we will have and continue to have, because the truth is that this life is one. I mean, it's so fickle. So any little thing, you can go. So the little time we have, let's live the best quality life that we can.